Hey there, gang. It is time for another comic book unboxing video, and this one is a little bit random. I've got 4 or 5 different consignments to go through here, getting them prepped and ready for auction, and it's just a little bit of everything. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. If you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is an unboxing video. And yeah, this one it's a little bit random, and it's a little bit ad hoc as well. What you're looking at here is kind of my makeshift recording studio built out of some empty comic book boxes, because when I came into the office today, I was not planning to film anything, but I did see that we had a bunch of consignments to work on, and that always takes top priority. Boom, drop everything, get to work on that. But I didn't bring the tripod that I normally use. As you know, as regulars know anyway, I don't have a camera or microphone or anything fancy. I just use an iPad and scream into the air. But as I say, I didn't have that with me, so I had to do this here. So yes, the lighting is awful, the sound is awful. You don't have to tell me, okay? I mean, if you have practical advice on what I could do to improve sound and video, and what kind of systems I should use, editing wise or recording wise or whatever, by all means do reach out in the comments below or via email, whatever you like. But otherwise, if you're just going to complain and tell me how awful I am and how much I suck, thank you, I'm aware. Trust me, I have a wife. I know. I am aware. Beyond that, though, I do want to apologize. This video could be a little choppy in places. I had to edit it up quite a bit because there were things going on in the office. I wasn't the only one here. I did all of this before I punched in for the day. But still stuff was, going on. There was a little bit of commotion here and there, so I had to edit some stuff out. All this has ever been is just one guy, sharing his love of comic books. It's not a commercial or anything like that. If you need to know, if you want to know, if you're wondering about, the auctions that I mentioned and when they are, that kind of thing, reach out to me, via DM or email or whatever. I'll tell you, like I said, it's not a secret. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just not really, promoting it and pushing it. Again, this is just about sharing the love of comic books. So, that said, oh, wait, before we get into it, I was going to say, that said, let's get into it. But before we get into it, the Great 1,000 Subscriber Giveaway Contest is still a thing. I think in the video I might have said I was 18 subscribers away. At this point, I'm about 9 subscribers away from 1,000, so that's exciting. So please do like, share, subscribe, comment away, do all the groovy things, and don't forget to enter the contest. I did neglect to leave a code word during the video. Again, a lot of things are going on, and I just forgot. So this is going to be a create your own code word video. So to enter the contest, if you've watched any of these videos in the past, you know the format the code word takes. So leave some format of that in the comments below. If you're not aware, if this is your first time here, well, you have to go back and watch some old videos, some recent videos anyway, and try and figure it out. So this is a create your own code word day. And well, that said, now let's get into it. All right, well, let's not waste any time. Let us get right to the first consignment. These are all books that have been sent to CGC already. See what you think of these. New Mutants in 9.0, direct sales copy. Transformers #1, and that's an 8.5 and a newsstand copy, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Here is an Avengers #11, 6.5. And you can see here Spider-Man's costume. It gives you an idea of just how early in the Marvel oeuvre this was, that his costume is miscolored here. A little bit of blue on the face mask, and really kind of around the eyes too. That was corrected in subsequent reprints. And who knew, but eventually Spider-Man would indeed join the Avengers. Here is Conan, #24. And that is the first full appearance of Red Sonja in comics, or Sonja, as I used to say it when I was a kid. That's a pretty good book at an 8.5. I think that'll still go to a weekly. Some of these holders are different. Some are thick, and some are quite thin. So CGC has changed their folders a couple of times. There's the first appearance of Scott Lang as Ant-Man. I don't know why I tried to say it so stupid, but it's just Ant-Man. But that's his second appearance overall. Second appearance overall. First as the mighty, mighty Ant-Man. Here is Nova, and that's a 7.0, Nova number 1. And I'm guessing somebody was probably disappointed when that came back, being a 7.0. I'm just taking a quick look at it off screen. Oh, probably because there's some, well, and this is something that maybe marked as a demerit, maybe a little bit more than it should have. There's a few tears right here at the top. And that just looks to me like it was cut with a dull knife. So that's really a manufacturing defect. And so a lot of things like manufacturing defects, like bindery tears at the top and bottom of the spine and whatnot, penciled arrival dates and things like that, we don't really consider defects for grading purposes, or at least not as much as a defect as a handling. And so I tend to think that maybe this book was graded a little heavily. I might have given it a 7.5 myself, but if you're within a half grade, you're doing okay. This is Black Knight number 2 from the 1990s. I'm not sure that's really a book that called for being certified, especially where it's only an 8.5, but I think that's as well a book that probably the person who sent it in was a little disappointed when it came back. Got a little bit of tanning right here, right there in that white spot. This was another Black Knight. This is number 3. I think this was a 4-issue limited series? Am I remembering that correctly? Huh. Again, a little bit of tanning right there. I'm just looking at the book kind of off camera here. I don't know, I guess the 8.5's about right. It might even be an 8. There's a little bit of wear here on the spine. And I've noticed that CGC tends not to give as many demerits on the spine as I think it should. A lot of newer books, I've seen them grade as much as a 9.8, and they'll have a color breaking crease all the way down the spine, which is pretty common with newer books. But be that as it may, here's Amazing Spider-Man 299. That is what Todd McFarlane's second issue of the series. Very nice. And that's a 9.4. That should do okay. Last but not least, in this consignment, we have X Factor number 6, first full appearance of Apocalypse, a newsstand copy. And so this is late 80s, probably around this point the newsstand was about half and half between newsstand and direct sales. Maybe a little less, maybe 40% newsstand. By the early 90s, it was down to like 10%. And then we've got another consignment here. There was just one book in this consignment. And if you want to consign any books to our auctions, either our weekly auctions or the quarterly elite auction, just go to sellmycomicbooks.com and tell them Duke sent you. It won't get you anything. So this is interesting. We got a Silver Surfer number 1. It's graded as a 7. But this, if you've never actually cracked one of these cases, this is what the inner holder, this is what the comic actually rests inside the holder. And this one is still sealed. So this hasn't been opened. It is still sealed. But somebody cracked the case for some reason. And you can see this is judging by this label, this is a pretty early CGC book. So this would go back to, when did CGC start? 2001, 2, 3, 4? 4, I think. Something like that. So this is a 7. And I think I'm going to have to get in touch with the consignment director for this particular consignment and find out maybe what the bear wants to do. I would recommend sending this back to CGC and get it reholdered and regraded. You might even get a little better than a 7.0. Looks pretty good to me. There's a little bit of a tear down here. Yeah, probably 7.0 is about the best we're going to get on that, come to think of it. But probably a good idea to send that right back, get that in a new holder. And here is the next consignment that I will be dealing with today. These are all raw books, and look at this. These are all in sleeves from a photo album, I would say. That's not your standard Mylar conservation technique right there. But let's take a look, see what we've got here. And what I need to do on these is decide as I go through them, and you can maybe make that same decision as well as you're looking at me going through them, is which of these books might I want to send to CGC? Which ones would be best to sell as part of a lot? Which ones would be best to sell as a raw single? Most of these look kind of lower grade. I don't know the degree to which you can see them inside these sleeves, but I don't really want to take them out just yet. But that's, what's that, the first appearance of cloth? And that's, like I said, that's a lower grade, so that's probably going to go in a lot, I would think. Strange Tales number 128. That looks a little lower grade as well, but it might be good enough to do as a single. Strange Tales, this one's really rough. This is definitely going in a lot. Strange Tales number 141. It's got a 10-cent sticker. Is that on the... That's got to be on the book. That can't be on the bag. No, it's on the book. And that spine is pretty rough. Here is 143, also with a 10-cent sticker over the original 12-cent. This probably was purchased in a used bookstore or maybe a lawn sale. Avengers number 21, first appearance of the Caucasian Power Man with the pop art logo. That one's in pretty decent shape, but I don't think I wouldn't send that to CGC, I don't think. This would be great if it was the original, but this is the Marvel Greatest Comics reprint from the early 70s. Still pretty low grade. I think all of these are going to end up in lots. Just looking at the grades, I think these are all going to be lots. There is Strange Tales number 142. Kind of rough. First appearance of Kraven the Hunter. Now, Kraven, that might be worth sending to CGC. Even you can see a big hole in the spine there. Spine's pretty rough all the way up and down. That's probably a 2 at best. A little bit of a spine roll too, you can see. That's probably about a 2 at best. So that's... but first Kraven, that might nonetheless be worth sending to CGC. I'll have to look that up in GP Analysis, see what I think. Here is Fantastic Four Annual 4. Pretty rough. But the first appearance of Annihilus and birth of Franklin Richards in that book. Tales of Suspense number 87. I hope you can see these okay in these bags. Well, these photo album sleeves, I should say. Here's, again, pretty rough. But 29, I think that's the second appearance of the Scorpion. Tales of Suspense number 65. Yeah, it's funny. The way this is divided, it almost looks like Iron Man is on the floor below these guys, like you're looking through the floor at the two different levels instead of two entirely different scenes. Here's Amazing Spider-Man 24 with, is that Sandman? And Vulture. So you've got the Sinister 2 anyway, the Terrible 2. This is the very last Ditko issue, number 38 of Amazing Spider-Man. Looks pretty rough. Some of these pages look loose too, or else the cover's detached, one or the other. Doctor Doom on Fantastic Four number 57. Here is Fantastic Four number 62. Is that the first Blastar? I think maybe. Thor, Galactus Abornin. I don't know why. That cracks me up every time. Galactus Abornin. Just seems a little folksy for, Galactus, the great cosmic entity. It's like he should be in a little Abner strip or something. What's the Sadie Hawkins Day? Galactus running from Daisy May. There's 169. I think that's part of the origin of Galactus. Just like I used to say Red Sonja, I used to say Galacticus. I don't know why. He just seemed more impressive and needed more syllables, I guess. There's Thor number 134. It's more Galactus. I'll have to look and see if that's just folded under right there or if that is actually cut off. The first solo Doctor Doom story, and also the first appearance of Valeria. Again, pretty rough. On the edge and the corner here, spine looks a little rough too. Somebody wrote 30 cents on it. So where the other ones, the 12 centers, were marked down to 10 cents, this one had a little junior investor here. Thought he was going to make money. Wanted 30 cents for it. Here's Tales of Suspense 64. Little Hawkeye. Not Hawkeye. That's Hawkeye. You think I would be able to tell the boys from the girls? It's hard to tell these days. But there she's doing a little Spider-Man action. Sticking to the roof of the room. There's number 66. That's a nice cover. I like that. That's a nice cover. This is number 60. Iron Man's wanted for murder, and Hawkeye's going to bring him in. That looks like the Leaper. Batroc. Here is Thor number 123. Journey into Mystery 123, I should say. Fantastic Four number. Oh, look at that. No, well, no, I don't think so. That's the first cover appearance of both Galactus and Silver Surfer. First full appearance of Galactus, but with the sticker on it. And oh, that piece out right there. Yeah, that's going to be a raw. And probably part of a multi-book lot. First appearance of the Swordsman, a Hawkeye origin as well. In number 19, so it's got some rust on the staples as well. And then Hulk and Hercules get down in Tales to Astonish number 79. This one just has a blank sticker on it. Kind of weird. All right, well, that was that consignment. What's our next consignment here? And it looks like this is going to be... Is this the full series? I don't think it's the full series. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. Again, this is a full consignment here, so it doesn't have to be a big collection. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 1, number 2. Now the question is, are we going to have number 8, right? Number 3. You can see these are from different sources already because there's a newsstand. The other 2 were direct sales. There's number 4, 5. And it used to be, 8 was the only one you wanted, and the rest of them, were like dollar bin fodder. But a lot of these are kind of, if they're in good enough shape, they're worth selling as singles. Because, like first appearance of Spider-Woman. When has anybody seen that particular Spider-Woman since? I can't even remember what her real name was. But anyway, there it is. There's number 8. There's number 8. I'm going to grade these up, and I think they're looking kind of 7-ish to me, just in these bags. I might put this out as a complete series. Because usually the 8 gets cherry-picked, and the rest, maybe that's why they started trying to sell them as singles. Because it's the only way. And there's number 12. I probably will. I will probably put that up as a complete set. Because you don't often see the full set. Usually the 8 is picked out, and you might get a run with the rest of them. But as a complete set, I think that's worth selling. Let me go grab the next lot, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I said next lot, but what I meant, of course, was next consignment. This will probably be multiple lots. This is about, a quarter of a short box or so, and this is multiple books, all raw. And if I sound like I'm a little subdued today, it's because I'm not the only one in the office. As I said before, now I have to do these in the office, and I can't really take the books home with me anymore, and I'm not the only one in the office today. So, everyone else is in other rooms, but I don't want to be too boisterous. I'm a little nervous. I'm being kind of a Sally. So here you go. If you're a Turtles fan, that's number 12. I don't really know my Turtles printings all that well, so you will have to holler real loud if you see something that's like a first printing or like... That looks to me like it's a later printing, but I think by 13, I don't think they were getting multiple printings, so I don't really know. This is upside down, inside out. What's going on here? Oh, here we go. That's number 15. Oh, look at that. That's obviously going to have to be part of a lot, a multi-book lot. Probably all of these Turtles will. I mean, after 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, are they really worth a ton? I don't really know. Are these all upside down? Well, I guess they are, aren't they? I'll just have to turn them right over. Whoops, well, now this side's upside down. You can't win, folks. You just can't win. That tape is on the bags. There's a number 5. That looks like it's a Whitman version. Not in very good shape at all. There's number 1. Oh, it's Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 1. Again, I don't know my Turtles real well. Gotta look. What is this? Oh, no, it's... What the hell is it? I have no idea what this is. It doesn't have a logo. A whole lot of... That looks like a bad trip is what that looks like. I don't know what this book is. Oh, it's First Comics, but... is that Grimjack? I don't know. I'm going to have to open that up and see. You tell me what it is. I'll pop it up on the screen once I figure it out. This is Authorized Martial Arts Training Manual. There you go. There's another number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Here we're back to the main series, number 7. Here's the one with Cerebus. Although that's not Cerebus. That's Cereboobs. Which is, see, again, I got to be quiet about doing stuff like that when there are other people in the office. You know, if I say risque stuff and somebody says something to me, I can just feign ignorance and I can just be like, oh, I'm sorry. Was that against the rules? If I had known, I do a Constanza. If I had known that was against the rules. But with other people here in the office, I got to be careful. Shh, everyone be quiet. Everybody be quiet. Here's number 10. I've got earphones plugged in with the microphone plugged into the iPad. Usually, as you know, I'm just kind of shouting into the air. But to try to keep it down, I have these on. There's number 4. Again, kind of rough here, not as bad as the other one. And that is blank UPC Diamond Box. I'd say that is a Whitman variant. Oh, interesting. Now these gold keys, you need to check them. This one is in a very high grade. But as you get into the 35-40 cent era, particularly with the Whitmans, there's some very, very low print run books. Particularly a few that were only, the Whitmans were sold in the 3-packs in the department stores, and some that were only sold that way and not in very high quantities. Usually it's the Whitmans that you want. The later Whitmans will have a chance, and they can be like 200 or 300 $300. Here's a Mickey Mouse. Not in very good shape at all. This is a reprint book right here. Marvel Super Action. It feels like there's 2 books in there. There are 2 books. What is the other book? It's an Amazing Fantasy 15. No, it is another Marvel Super Action number 22. So those won't bring much action at all. But part of the consignment, see, this is the other problem too. Well, it's not a problem, but it's a challenge. Is that like before, when we were, the company we were before obtained our services, put it that way, we could mix and match anything in our inventory because we were buying the collections outright. Most of what we do through now is consignments. And here is a Whitman, by the way. So I'll need to check that. That could be a low print run, although probably not a 25 center, but still. You're not wearing any pants. What do you care about getting wet? But anyway, before we could mix and match anything. And now, like all the books you've been looking at from this consignment, they've got to kind of go together. I got to figure out a way to make the best possible lots that will be, the best, that will bring the best revenue to the seller and also be the best lot possible for the buyer. So I'll have to figure out a way to divide this. I don't think, I wouldn't want to sell this lot, even though it's only about a quarter of a short box, just kind of as is. I don't think that would bring as much as if I parceled it out. And if I parceled it out right, the buyer's going to get the books they want, as opposed to, having to buy some stuff that they don't want. So here's some Micronauts. I love the Micronauts. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but I do love the Micronauts. And this is all Micronauts in here. There's about 4 books in this bag. I won't open them all up. Here it is. Looks like a first printing. So that's a good book. That's the best book of this box so far. The Killing Joke. And it looks in reasonably nice shape. Just eyeballing that. That's probably an 8.5 or a 9. First appearance of Archangel. Angel is Archangel. That one looks pretty nice as well. That's a good single. Well, I don't know. It's harder to judge what makes a good single than it was before. Because they would like every lot, I think, to be at least $100, $150. And that's probably, a $30 book. Premier issue, Miami Mice. How many of you even remember Miami Vice? Probably most of you do. Most of you are older. But a lot of the younglings, they don't even know what Miami Vice is. They don't even know who Don Johnson is. Here's Marvel's Yogi Bear. Number 4, the first issue of these series, these Marvel Hanna-Barbera books, do quite well, actually. Hawkman number 2. Howard the Duck number 3. Master of Quack Fu. Here's Hamster Vice. Well, obviously I have to pair Hamster Vice with Miami Mice. That's just obvious. That screams out as being lot partners. Walt Disney's Daisy and Donald. It's a very pink cover. Very, very pink. Oh, look at this. This is Scary Tales, Charlton, number 12, 35 cents. So that would be around 78 or so. Not in super high grade. But that is, what was her name? The Countess, the Baroness, something like that. I'm trying to make out the signature. I think the signature is right in there. Can't quite make it out. Here's another very pink cover, a little Beagle Boy action. I'll probably pair all these Disney books together, unless I happen to have one that is a low print run book. Boom, boom, boom. That is a reprint of an early Karl Barks story, I believe. Oh, look, Droids. Is that number 1? No, it's number 4. That was a series that was quite overlooked at the time, but is now quite popular. Kind of like the Christmas special. Nobody was really interested at the time, but now everybody wants a piece of it. Here's a Woody Woodpecker. There's a Whitman. Scamp. Did you know that Scamp is the son of, what are the 2 names of the dogs? What's the name of the movie? Never mind what's the name of the dogs. Oh, Lady and the Tramp. Lady and Tramp. That's their son. That was kind of the sequel, as it were. Pink Panther doesn't have a pink cover. Pink Panther has a green cover. The Flintstones and Pebbles, number 40. Poor Dino. Look at that. I guess it's lucky for him that Fred isn't much of a golfer. Submariner 53. That's a decent book. I don't know that it's a single, though. Oh, look at this. There's a little surprise for you. Ms. Marvel number 1. It's not a high grade. I don't think I'm going to send that to CGC. There's quite a bit of smeg down here and some spine wear. But that might be worth selling as a single. Sergeant Rock. That one's pretty beat up. Man Thing number 9. Oh, he's pulling on the hair. I was like, what's up with the hair? But then I realized the tree thing was pulling on it. Fury of Firestorm, The Nuclear Man, number 1, by Pat Broderick. Solo Avengers, number 1. Micronauts, some more Micronauts, and there's about 4 books in here as well. I'm sure they're all Micronauts. Enter the Molecule Man. Some more Marvel Super Action, Avengers reprints, some more Micronauts. You can't go wrong with Micronauts, I'm telling you. She-Hulk number 2. Now, do we have a number 1 in here? That would be Fabu. I would pair that with the Ms. Marvel. Unknown Soldier. And last in this consignment is a Micronauts. So there you go. I think that's going to be it for this video. I've got one more consignment that I've got to work through, but that one's a long box. So I decided that will be a separate video. So until then, or whenever we meet again, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.